Samantha's Bridal, in conjunction with the Fairmont Mount Kenya Hotel, decided a few days ago to take a few luxury high-end event designers and planners for a farm trip to experience the Fairmont hospitality. Now, as part of the experience, we incorporated a visit to the Tambuzi flower farm. Now, some of you may not know the Tambuzi flower farm, but you really should know about it. Now, the Tambuzi flower farm grow these amazing flowers that all top event planners in the world and designers use the flowers. And did you know that Meghan Markle's flowers, the flowers in the arch, were actually from Kenya, from Tambuzi specifically? These flowers can also be available to you. It's not just for all these top event people. Now we are talking top brands like David Austin. These are flowers that are in demand. All the top luxury hotels, top luxury event planners are using these flowers.
So we came here as young people, my husband and I, we were in our mid-20s. We bought the farm and we started planting roses in 1999. You've got Preston Bailey coming in November. That's super exciting. We've just opened a business in New York to sell in New York because of the direct flight. So I'm excited too. So we'll definitely be part of that. I hear that Karen Tran is going to Zambia in July. So we're starting to see that this is, we know that this is the last market. Africa is the last market. And to up our game on events is really an exciting thing. I think in Standard 7, they tell everybody about flower, the tea, coffee and tourism. Actually, flowers is bigger than all of those, and we are the third biggest grower of flowers in the world. We should be super proud of it. There's lots of good stuff that you can tell your clients about these flowers. You're selling stories, you're selling emotion, you're selling excitement for people for weddings and parties. The flowers should be part of that. The story back should be part of that. You need to be able to talk with real understanding and knowledge about where you're getting your flowers from, because your sophisticated customers are expecting that. They want to know how it is. They want to make sure that it's grown in a good place where people are happy and that they can be proud that the flowers come from there. Okay? The two things that you know about a Tambuzi rose is that it's scented on the whole and that it's going to have this kind of old-fashioned quartered shape. So if I look in magazines, I can pretty much guarantee that I know which of the 6 or 7 farms worldwide the flowers will come from, because these are very difficult to grow. These roses are star performers rather than mass performers. One of the exciting things that we see in terms of being able to work with local event organizers is that if we don't have to put it in a box, we can let these roses grow to this kind of open stage, this kind of size. If you give us enough time, we can make sure that we're growing it to order, and it can go in a bucket, not a box, so it comes to you on water. When you're seeing a lot of those flowers in Europe and the States, a lot of them have never been in a box. A lot of them will be flowers that have been grown in greenhouses in Holland or in California, and they haven't been squashed. In France, we sell to a chain of shops called a Nom de la Rose, who only sell roses. They have 40 shops in Paris, and we pack each shop's flower box with a mixture of flowers. The time has come now that we need to start using them in Africa, in Kenya. One of the things that we're also very happy is if you have a very particular bride, they're super welcome to come and pick their own roses, check them out, come to the farm, come and see it, choose their colors, that kind of thing. So they get an emotional connection to the farm and where the flowers are coming from. You know, I think that's really important.
These people, the farm, they are the most authentic. The story is so authentic in terms of, you know, from Maggie Hobbs herself. She is really authentic in the way she's telling the story, from how the farm was acquired, from how the business is run, from their day-to-day activities, and just everything about the business, the backstory, and just to realize that, you know, as planners who are on a trip, to learn more about luxury and the millennials, this is exactly what people are looking for in luxury. People don't want to buy things at face value. And one thing which you'll hear later, Maggie mentioned, and it just like opened my eyes, you know, rich people are not looking at, they don't want any more things. They have enough. They have enough. They're looking at experiences.
What you will have is more and more elaborate parties. Yeah. So the experience, what rich people are going to spend on is experience. They've got all the stuff. They don't need any more stuff. So what they want is now unbelievable experiences. So there'll be massive travel, and there will be massive parties and events and things like that are going to get more and more elaborate. I think it's an industry that's going to grow. The experience industry is definitely going to grow, 100%. And actually, you know, there's a lot of reaction against having stuff. You want to have the memories. Yeah, that's what people are spending on. And the turning point for me was when Nimu, I don't know if you know Nimu, but Nimu did the president's son's wedding last year, and she said, I want to pay export prices. I want these to be the best roses that anyone in the world can buy. I want them to be those. So they paid export prices, they paid up front, and then everyone was happy, and you thought, well, the industry is changing now where you are going to have clients that are able to do that. We are the only grower in Africa of the David Austin roses. I'll show you in here. So again, David Austin is a brand that your clients will know. There are only 5 growers worldwide, and we're the only one in Africa.
Event industry, especially in this part of the world, is just at the cusp of change. We are about to see it's about to explode in ways we never thought possible, because people are now interested in authentic experiences. People are not buying things, like I said, on face value. They want the backstory, and the backstory is something like, in their case, you know, she mentioned about how they acquired this farm. Very beautiful story, how the farmers are treated, how the whole community is treated, you know, the organic farming that they do. So when the flower arrives, or if you're a bride and your bouquet arrives and you smell it, the backstory, you know that people were happy. The people who worked on this farm for this flower to arrive it was a good experience for them.
So we bought it, at that point it had been empty for 20 years. It was the center of a much bigger farm. So where you came off the tarmac was the beginning of the farm. It was a 10,000 acre farm. And then in the 70s it got subdivided into plots. This is called Burgerette. But the main part of the farm was this part. So I'll take you up for a cup of tea. If we have time, you can come up to the house. The house was built in 1929. So it's a 90-year-old house with the same mabati from 1929. thick mabati. So it's 90 years old. And if you see here, so it was built by a guy called Jack Soames. And you see here, so it says Soames, and it says London, Mombasa, Narramoro. So it came on a ship to London to Mombasa, then on the train to Narramoro, and it was put on here 90 years ago.
Wow. And it still looks the workmanship.
Before we came here, there were no jobs in this community. We're the only employer in this community. There's lots of good stuff that you can tell your clients about these flowers. There are 500 people working on the farm, so that's why I don't know everybody's name. But what we tend to do is give Mary a section of the flowers, and she will look after those as her own, so that you get the productivity and also she can get the up and the down of it. We used to have one person would do pruning and one person would do weeding and one person, but it's much better for one person to look after flowers. So she's sort of picking her flowers here now, and then we'll follow them through into the greenhouse. The blue paper is, we're trying to use less and less chemicals. This is very, very environmentally facing, this farm. This is my home. This is going to be my kids' farm. I need to look after it. I need to look after the soil. I need to look after the environment. I need to keep the trees. You know, that's the attitude that we have to it. So the blue paper is catching doo-doos rather than spraying. We use a lot of stuff called IPM, which is integrated pest management, which means you buy bugs to eat bugs rather than spraying. And when the bugs have eaten all the bugs, they die. So you're using nature solutions in the farm rather than spraying stuff. One of our businesses is something called Highland Castle Farms, which is very high-end sausages. You'll see them in Chandarama and ShopRite. So what we're going to do now is we're taking rose waste, we're putting it through insects, maggots. So you feed it to them. The maggots then produce a kind of like a worm tea that's a natural fertilizer, and then the protein is going to be fed to the pigs. Then the pigs give you manure, and you have a circular business. We have an environmental responsibility in every industry. Every industry, we should be thinking about it, you know, and we should be thinking about where they go and how we clear it up and where they put stuff. And I mean, if you invest in your vases, if you invest in vases that can give you that height but they are not wobbly like that, then I mean, that's the investment to make rather than Oasis, I think. You know, Kenya, we've banned plastic bags. Why don't we be a floral industry that also tries very hard to be ahead of it? You know, they're being forced into it in America and the UK. We can actively choose to do it from the beginning. We've got those kind of responsibilities, because your industry is about to explode.
She's so authentic. First of all, she's a people's person. All of us have not yet stopped talking about Tambuzi. I think if you've met me the last 5 days, that is the first thing. We got some flowers from there. And these were not like even the flowers that were being taken for export. These were the flowers that now were rejects. And we said, oh, no, you can't throw those away. Let's, you know, okay, we can't say we were given rejects. But they were so good. They're really good flowers. I just threw mine away this morning. They were still very fresh looking, big and nice. That was a beautiful experience. A beautiful experience. Make it part of your wedding planning.